What's up everyone, it's Jinxed here. Today I'm bringing you a guide on the best build in the game. Riven carry, I think no one can argue against that right now. I'm going to be showing you 3 variations, one with Cultist chosen, one with Dusk chosen, and one with no chosen at all. And a lot of you have been asking for gameplay footage. So what we're going to be doing today is this video will be just the guide, and then I'm going to release another video of just full gameplay, full 30 minutes, all its glory, no cuts, no edits or anything, so you can watch every decision I make. I get second place with just a Riven one and a Jin one. That shows the power of the build. I didn't even upgrade those units, got second place. You just hit the Riven, hit the Jin, and you're stable like a mountain. Enjoy. All right, first things first, we need to create that mental image of these builds so you know exactly what units you're looking for. Up first, we're gonna do the Cultist chosen. Ideally, it's with Elise. It can be with a Twisted Fate, but then you're stuck with a Twisted Fate until the late game. The easiest way to think about this variation is just think 6 Cultists plus Riven Vayne, 6 Cultists plus Riven Vayne, and you got the build. All right, you've noticed what I've done here is at level 8, I've left it at 3 out of 4 Dusk, because this way with the Dusk spatula that goes on the Jin, you can get 4 Dusk, or you have the option to go to level 9 to add in that 4th Dusk, that being the Cassiopeia. Reason being is because the Zillion will always replace Evelyn, and there you go. This is your level 9 variation, or again, as I said, if you find the Dusk spatula. Okay, up next, this one will be with the Dusk chosen. I think this one's a little bit more straightforward. Just find all the Dusk units. Basically, you will need to hit that Lilia either off of the late game carousels or at level 8. If you can push level 9, again, this build can do so easily. You're always wanting to do it with Jin plus Riven. As long as you get those 2 units, you're cruising through the mid-late game, especially if you upgrade them. Okay, and as always, Zillion goes in. That way you can get the added bonus of Mystic. Straightforward. Now the quick thing about this variation is if you get the Dusk spatula, then you need to make a decision of which one to drop, right? And that just depends on what you need. If in the game you find that you need Mystics because there's mages or magic damage, you want to keep the Cassiopeia, drop the Thresh. But if you notice that your Aatrox isn't getting his ultimate off, then you want to keep the Thresh for that Vanguard synergy so he can last a bit longer. Make sure he's getting his ultimate off, and you can drop the Lilia or the Cassiopeia. All right, finally, we have the no chosen at all. This build is so good for that. We're going to be using Keeper instead, Ninja Keeper, and yeah, that's the build. And I know some of you will really like this, so I'm just going to show you quickly. When you do get the Zillion in there, you actually get perfect synergies. Okay, now I know some of you are thinking, Jinx, this is a bajillion forecasts. How are you getting there? I'll show you the early game. Okay, we're going to talk about how you're going to get to this late game stage where you can afford all these forecasts. But up first, I want to talk about items. You might have noticed by now that I've used a different set of items on each variation on the Riven. So let's do that now. Let's take a look at the items. All right, so these are all the items that are good on Riven. I've ranked them from best to worst, okay, but all of them are viable. Now, the ideal 3 items that you get on your Riven are Bramble Vest, QSS, and Titan's Resolve. If you want early game power, early game win streak potential, Sunfire Cape is the best item by far right now. And then other great items that work on Riven are Ionic Spark, Guardian Angel, Rabadons, Gargoyles, Stone Plate, and Dragon Claw. Any of these 3 combinations will work on the Riven. The Jin just needs a Giant Slayer. Make sure you get the Giant Slayer because there's Ash Brawlers right now. It's a very heavy, high HP health pool meta, right? With the Brawlers, it helps with 3-star units as well. So the priority item on the Jin is that Giant Slayer. After that, if you can get the Guardian Angel, it'll keep him safe. It'll make him come back and usually get that 4th shot off that he can get off otherwise without the Guardian Angel. With all that being said, you want to make sure you're starting off with chain vest. You can build so many good items with that first chain vest. Do try to prioritize the Sunfire Cape as an early item, as it will keep your health very, very high. It's the strongest early game item right now. Now, I quickly want to show you, before we take a look at the early game builds, I want to show you the non-chosen variation, so you know what to drop when you do hit a chosen. You have quite a few options, right? Let's say you don't have your chosen yet, you're rolling down and you're hitting a sharpshooter Jin. The unit that you're always going to be replacing will be the cannon, right? So it's very simple. You're dropping the cannon and then you're adding in a fourth sharpshooter. But let's keep going back. Let's say it's not the sharpshooter. Anything that you get, right? Let's say it's Vanguard Aatrox, right? Over here. Then again, same thing, drop the cannon, add in a fourth Vanguard. Let's say it's Mystic, you hit chosen Cassiopeia Mystic, then do plan for using that Zillion in the late game, and same thing, drop this, add in the fourth Mystic. So you have a lot of options here with what chosen you hit, right? And same thing, if you hit Dusk, if you hit Cultist, then it's always going to be the cannon that will be disposable, so to say. Okay, 2 early game variations. Up first, Vanguards, Sharpshooters, Vanguards, Sharpshooters. I'm going to show you how beautifully this can transition into it. All right. So the items here, I'm just showing you who's going to be your item carrier, right? Garen will hold on to all the Riven items. Again, it can be any, I think it was 9 that good items that work on Riven. It can be any of the 9 onto the Garen. And then Nidalee just holds on to the Jin items. Simple. From here, well, you just look at your synergies, and this is the one time where you're actually going to be looking to fill in the synergies. As I always sometimes say, you know, prioritize upgraded units. Here, the synergies are actually good. They're going to help you going into that mid game. So you want to add in that Warlord next, and we're going to be looking for the Jarvan here. And as we add the Jarvan, you slowly want to start getting in the Keeper. This can be the Cannon, it can be Elise, whichever Keeper that you hit. Okay, there we go. And when you find that Thresh, well, look at that. Now the Thresh can go in over the Wukong. So you're starting to get a very nice build going here. You can put your units around the Keepers so that they get the shield. Right, very beautiful mid game, and then slowly from this point you can start going level 7 and look for those 4 costs. Right, once you hit the Riven replaces the Jarvan, and you can see how it's all starting to slowly come in. The Jin goes in over the Nidalee, and at this point you can start getting Cultist, because as soon as you hit the Aatrox, well, then that goes in over the Garen. You can make the item transfer, and you can see the build coming in together now, and then playing off of whichever chosen you hit. Okay, the other early game variation will be Cultists with Elise, Twisted Fate. So the reason I'm showing you this is so you know what units to hold on to early, right? When you're looking to play this build, you're grabbing that Chain Vest, and then you're looking for Vanguards, Sharpshooters, Cultists. Those are the units you want to prioritize grabbing in the early game. The earliest Cultist the earliest unit that will allow you to get Cultist will be the Pike, right? So you need the Elise, Twisted Fate, and then as soon as you hit this 2-cost unit in Pike, you have 3 Cultists. You spike very hard. I do love using that Ninja in the mid game whenever I can, so I'm combining the Pike with the Ninja Assassin, and then Jarvan for Keeper with Elise. And then from this point on, again, start adding in slowly the units. Once you get the Cannon, you can start replacing that, Riven, and then keep adding on until you get into one of these 3 builds that we talked about earlier. Now I quickly want to touch on positioning and when you're going to be rolling. Okay, the case with Keepers is you don't always need to try and get maximum value with the shields that the Keepers are giving, right? You don't need to, I need to put all my units around the Keepers to get the shields. No, it's fine. And it's more important that you're keeping your units safe, right? So I'll show you a few variations. Okay, you have the standard where you put these 2, and then Aatrox benefits from the double shield, right? Same with a Pike here. Now there's another way that the Aatrox can benefit from the double shield with while frontlining the Riven as well. So this one or this one. So you see that these two units are touching, and then they're giving the double shields to the Aatrox, and then you can put a unit here if you'd like the pike for an example. Okay, another good variation is just keep the two keepers beside each other, and then don't worry about the double shield. Just have something like this, or you can put the pike here if you want to give him the double shield from the keepers. But sometimes it's more important that you put the pike in one of the sides. The reason why these two tiles are the best, by the way, for pike is because they go on the very like outer edge possible and can usually hit maximum amount of units with a stun. So these are the two tiles that I usually like my pike on. And then it depends if there's if there's no assassins, just keep your stuff safe. If there's Sejuani and stuff, make sure you switch sides. If there's an Aatrox, put it. Quick tip on Aatrox, by the way, okay? Because Vayne will sometimes walk up, right? Let's say your Vayne walks up because their Aatrox is, let's say, across my Aatrox. Well, Vayne's gonna walk up to hit it. So then the farthest unit for the Aatrox to pull will be the Jhin. So instead, what you want to do is, if the Aatrox is across my Aatrox, bring the Jhin to this side, so that way Vayne can hit the Aatrox. You might even need to do this, so that the Vayne can hit the Aatrox without moving. If the units can hit the Aatrox without moving, then these two will be the farthest away, and that's what the Aatrox will pull. So that's a quick tip playing against Aatrox. Otherwise, keep it like this. Now, if there are assassins, well, this is when you're going to bring your keepers back, right? So you bring your keepers back, make a nice little triangle. Aatrox will go over here. Sometimes they can sneak into here, so I like putting in the Thresh here, and then boom, your Jhin is completely safe. So those are some quick variations with the keeper positioning. All right, and last but not least, the rolling down. All right, so it's going to be on stage 4-1. You want to go level 7 and do your major roll down here. You just need to hit 1 Riven, 1 Jhin, and you're stable. If you have the items for them, you will be able to save up throughout all of stage 4 and push for level 8 on 5-1 to look for those upgrades in the Riven 2, Aatrox 2, and the Jhin 2. That's it for this guide. I hope you enjoyed it. Enjoy it while you can. This is the best build in the game. I do fear that it will get nerfed, especially the Riven, if it is just the Riven that will be hitting the nerfs. Now, I quickly want to let you guys know that all of my guides, these guides that I'm doing, my members do get early access to them. So if you're seeing this, whichever day it is that it got released for you, my members were able to see it 2 days earlier. So if you want to first glance at these guides, make sure you're doing so with the little join button down below. All right, that's it for me today. Until next time, stay safe.